How's it going, guys? Before we get started on today's time lapse, I wanted to show you this beautiful work of art that Driveline Services of Portland put together for me. They built this off of the dimensions that I gave them. Took them a couple weeks, and they had to match up flanges for the Jatco transmission and the OC12 rear differential, and then they gave me a brand new Spicer U-bolt kit to bolt it up to the differential. Haven't tried to put it on yet or fit it into place, so I'm going to do that here at the start of this video, but I wanted to just show you guys how beautiful this work is that they did. It's pretty awesome. They used all brand new components, and I'm really stoked. They balanced it as well. The total price for this, just to give you an idea, so it was custom. I got a quote for $250 to $400. $400 being on the high side because they would have to source a bunch of the parts and make it all brand new, and it ended up being $425 out the door. And to me, that's a really good deal for some quality work and having a drive shaft that will fit this custom build that I'm doing. So I got a few things to do today. I'm not going to show you what they are right off the bat. You're just going to have to watch the time lapse and see. It's just some random stuff, but I'm sure you'll enjoy it. All right, here we go. That's in neutral because the brake there has a little bit of resistance on it that I'm going to have to adjust. But in neutral, I mean, you could turn this without the motor turning, but the drive shaft is working the way it's supposed to, so haha, boom, awesome drive shaft. Couple issues came up while we're working on old Rusty there. See that drain plug right there? I'm gonna have to tap that out. So I ordered a 3/4 inch NPT tap. For whatever reason, it just doesn't like that, and I looked at the threads inside there and they're pretty galled, and it was harder to get that drain plug out than the other one. So I'm assuming somebody drove that baby home with an impact gun and messed up the threads, so we definitely gotta fix that. I'm also surprised that the drop boxes didn't take more fluid. So I know the bucket took what it was supposed to, which I think was between 2.5 and 3.5 gallons, but I've got 2 buckets of this TO4, and there's quite a bit left in this one. The drop boxes, it didn't seem like they took very much at all. So I'm gonna have to ask a couple more experts on these differentials if I did that right, or if there's some trick to it. They seem to roll nice and smooth now. I mean, everything seems to roll nice and smooth. You saw when I had the snowcat fired up that the transmission spun the rear diff just fine. It feels like it's got good tolerances in it and everything. So I'm not too certain about that. But like I said, I'll do some more research. This right here is just kind of a mock-up of the setup that I have been envisioning in my mind. I want to put the batteries right here. It'll be in the center of the vehicle, and I think that's where I want to keep most of the weight, is towards the center if possible. The fuel tank will sit right here. Somebody welded on an AN, I think that's a -6 fitting there to feed the fuel, so I'm going to have to order some fittings for that. I'm going to have to take the sender out of here and research if that'll work with an ISS Pro fuel gauge. I did get the kitch can made up. Very simple design. I just basically used 5/8 PVC or power steering hose to go from the valve cover to the breather, and then this is the inlet. And then if you were to have this set up on a vehicle that has a emission system, this hose would go towards the turbo or to another vacuum source. But since this is not an emissions regulated vehicle, I'm letting that breathe right there. And then if it does suck any oil vapors up, they will balance out and go back down into the oil pan there to that little fitting that's down there. So hoping that'll work good. Kind of a funny thing here. This stant cap for the radiator on an Isuzu MPR is the exact same one that a Subaru Baja Turbo with a manual transmission uses. So I don't know if any of you ever use these motors for anything, but if you ever need a radiator cap, look up Subaru Baja Turbo radiator cap for a manual transmission, Subaru Baja Turbo. 10333 I believe is the part number, and it's a stant part. It's the exact same one that comes from the factory for the the correct pressure and whatnot on these motors, so it just mashed up. For whatever reason, they don't list an Isuzu NPR radiator cap on the Stamp website. And the one that they do list is for the V8 version, not the diesel version. So, my thought process on this front section here is, you'll start to see when I build the structure the idea I have, but obviously there's going to be a passenger seat here and a driver's seat over here. I'm thinking that this front part of the cab for the fuel tank will be about a 1.5 cab, and then the back section here, this whole back section will be open for cargo. Of course, I've got these awesome Byers stainless steel boxes, and you'll see that I'm going to basically mount those off the back here to the width of the body. And then this whole center section right here, my plan for this whole center section here is it will be a composite floor that's removable. So I'll either put it on a hinge where you can flip it up to service all this stuff, or I'll just have panels that you can pull out. And I think that'll work out good. Now this bit of floor is going to sit higher, obviously, because of the battery box, which is fine. I knew I was going to have to make accommodations for that battery box somewhere, and I've decided that's where I want to put it. So I think it'll work out good there. But yeah, coming along. Now comes the part of the project where my bank account is going to get smaller, because all of the high dollar items are what's left to purchase. That being Unistrut for the body, and for the paneling on the outside of the vehicle, you're going to see what I came up with, and I think you're really going to like it. There will be no further painting, so except for where I weld, and some of the welds and stuff like that for like Unistrut and stuff like that. But I'm pretty much done with the paint process. All this black undercarriage and axles and stuff like that, that's the limit of the painting I'm going to do, which kind of gives you an idea. If you look at the fuel tank here, it will kind of give you a hint as what I'm going to be using for paneling, and I think it's going to be fun. Some of you might be concerned about the weight of the vehicle when I'm finished. The stock weight of a THIOKOL Spryte is anywhere from 6,000 to 8,000 pounds, depending on the accessories that are on one. My plan for this is to be much less than the factory OEM weight, and I believe right now, as it sits, it's probably 2,500 pounds. That's my guess. If I calculate in the Unistrut and the paneling, that's probably going to be another 1,500 pounds. Plus, along with all the seating and stuff like that, I don't know, another 500 pounds on top of that, but kind of gives you an idea as to the direction I'm heading with this. And you guys are going to want to stick around, because this is going to be one crazy build when I'm done with it. So if you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, I'd love to have you guys as a subscriber. But as always, guys, take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you next time. See you later. Bye-bye.